All right, welcome back to the January 2023 meeting of the Hampton Ship Model Society. We're now starting the show and tell portion. Oh, there's a chat. Let's see what that is. Great presentation. I'm going to go first. As I wrote in the logbook, if anyone bothered to read it.
Hey, quick question for you. Are you looking to record this or no?
I thought I just hit this start record button, but you're right. I didn't hear say recording in progress.
Okay, sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, it says it's recording. I'm finally going to get my new workshop. I have a lot of the tools that Dave mentioned crammed into a 9x15 shed. I've got radial arm saw, a bandsaw, a grinder, my table mounted router, a thickness planer, a joiner, wood lathe that I've never used, but have visions of someday turning a salt pepper shaker or pepper grinder or something. I don't know. It was handed down to me by Jack Bobbitt. I had to do something. Anyway, it has become, I don't know if anyone remembers these toys you could get in a Cracker Jack box. There's a bunch of numbers in a grid, and you had to rearrange them to get them in order after mixing them up. That's kind of like what using my current workshop is. I move this tool out, shove the other one over, push that one back, and that actually, it's my fault, but it leads to safety issues because I'll make shortcuts because it's inconvenient to get to this, that, or the other thing. And anyway, it's a big pain in the butt. So I'm finally going to build a bigger one, and I wrote about it in the logbook. And once it's all done, hopefully it won't take a year. You're all welcome over in Millwood if you want. People have helped me out, and I need to pay back.
Well, maybe check the instructions. Maybe you missed the step.
I also mentioned that I shouldn't count my chickens before they hatch because I don't actually have the permits yet. And in between writing that and now, I got a letter from the city saying that they were concerned that 1/6 approximately of my shed was crossed over the resource protection area line, and they were going to disallow it. And in the past, I built a garden shed, and we had an addition added to our house, and both of those are over the line that's on the plat, and I got permits for both of those. I was there in person for the shed, and the guy said, "Oh, that's wrong," and he just scratched out the line. But this guy is less willing to buck the system or whatever, so he came out and looked at it. And he says, "Well, you're just at the line, so I'll make a note of that. You should be okay." I'm like, yeah, because I can't tell you how many hours I went into drafting this up, researching the international residential code to make sure everything was.
Looks like you're missing a piece.
I have to submit detailed plans to the city to get the permit. And if I had, it was a lot of time. And if all of that had been for naught because of something like 10 square feet in the resource protection area, I would have been pretty upset.
Can you find me 2 blue square pieces like that?
Share screen.
Mm.
I'll go ahead and share the drawings.
We need 2 square pieces like that.
Can I mute you, Joshua? Sorry about so elevation view, nothing fancy, right? It's just a box. But this is using Solid Edge. One reason I bring this up is in the past I did a presentation on Solid Edge 2D drafting program that you can use for designing your jigs or taking measurements off your drawing and all sorts of things. So all of this was done with that. Then this is the foundation and floor drawing, details of the foundation, the attic floor with a hatch for a pull down ladder. Details for the rafters and the lookouts for the rake overhang, the eaves, all that kind of stuff. I have to do all 4 walls. All of this was required by the city. So the further, and lastly, electrical plan. Anyway, there was my parents actually wanting to foot the bill for it. They're getting older and they want to do something fun with their money before they go. I could afford it. I just didn't want to put that kind of money into the house. And they wanted to have it built. And I called Colonial Barnes and I about hit the floor. It's like, there's no way. I don't even want their money spent on this. It's just too much for a shed. You don't get that much back in resale value. But the more I worked on the plans, the more excited I am about actually doing the work myself. It'll be a fun project. It's going to take me away from getting my model done, but it'll be fun. I like building stuff, even if it's not a model. So
It'll be a different model.
Yeah.
A framing nailer.
I am going to buy a framing nailer. I'm going to buy
I'll
a.
loan you one.
Hmm?
I'll loan you one.
Oh, all right, awesome. That'd be great. I looked up, best budget, whatever, and they got a highly recommended one for $80, but I don't mind borrowing one.
It'll probably come with nails.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Thanks.
The other thing is,
I'm also going to borrow from a friend a laser level for doing the foundation.
I double up on your wall outlets personally. I made that mistake.
Yeah,
Plenty, yeah, wrong.
yeah. You're probably right. Probably right. And that's the part I'm least confident about is the electricity. But I have a friend he's an electrical contractor. He does mostly commercial work, but he's going to loan me one of it. He doesn't really want the job because it's not their kind of work, but he can loan me somebody that can make sure that I'm doing it so it'll pass inspection and all that. Anyway, I'm excited about that. And when I'm done, I'll have a good working environment. Like I said, other people have been very generous with me over the years, and I want to do the same. So if you need some wood stripped or whatever, let me know. I know other people have made the same comment. John has reached out to people too. But,
Wiring cable and surround sound?
no. If I did that, it would be inside, but I might put up a TV and we'll see. All right, so that was my fun.
What about like heating and air conditioning?
Yeah, I'm putting a mini split system in there. So it's just have that long rectangular box on the wall inside and the compressor outside. So
Yeah, I put one in my garage. They're not bad to do.
They require a professional to come out and charge it and put a vacuum in and all that. Hopefully that's not too expensive, but.
So what I did was I bought one on Amazon. It came pre-charged. I hooked it all up, and then I called an HVAC guy to come in and evacuate it and check all my lines, and then he fired it up for me. It cost me like $300.
I was hoping that was my guess at the cost, about 300. And that's the one I found. I already have 30 amp service out to the shed. Tom Saunders helped me do that years ago, and I don't want to run more wires out there. But what I found in the past was if I tried to use a small space heater and run a larger tool at the same time, it would pop the breaker. So
Yeah, I have 60. I put 60 amp service in my garage.
But so I don't want to make this project any more expensive than it is. So I figured out I can run I'm going to buy a dust extractor, which I don't have now, a dust collector. I'm going to make sure that's 220, and my HVAC is going to be 220, and that'll cut down on the current that I pull. And I figured I'm going to be under by several amps. So I can make it work on what I've got now, but I'm having to be picky about what tools I buy, what HVAC system I buy to make sure I don't start popping breakers again. And LED lights will help. All right, cool. I need to stop chatting and yield the floor to whoever's next. Anyone bring something? What? John's? That his? Give me a second to get the camera set up.
Hey, Greg,
Yep.
did you want us to kind of like move around and show something, then move to another building?
Absolutely. Do you want to do that now or you?
We're right
After
here in
Sean.
the auction hall. It's just a bunch of things that are being auctioned off, but there's 5 halls here. Sorry.
Show this first.
Okay. Yep. But can we just go ahead and let that crew do their thing? So where is he? Here we go.
On the trip, and it's not too
Oh,
You're up in Lebanon, Pennsylvania. Thing called cabin fever. It's a machinist type. Thing. They have options, tools, other odds and people that have built air powered type.
why is he so small? I guess because he's on his phone.
Gas powered engines. It's a really, really cool show.
Low bandwidth. Yeah. Who can hear me? Hey Rylan, can you hear me now?
That's the auction hall, so that's all the stuff they have out there.
Sorry about that. I was muted.
All right, so you guys go ahead and give us show and tell from Cabin Fever up in Pennsylvania.
Okay. Right now, we're all in the hall that has the auction items. And I mean, it's just, right now, this isn't like the die-cast car part. Well, I mean, not necessarily die-cast, but a lot of the antique models, cars, toys, from days gone by. And, it's just a lot of these things I remember as kids. And it's just, they've switched the auction this year where it's all online. I've got Gene following along behind me.
No touching, Gene.
But why don't we switch off and go into another hall and come back to you in a little bit?
All right.
Okay.
Yep, I'm going to switch to Sean, and when Sean's done, you can show us the next hall.
That'll work.
All right, cool. All right, Sean. Sorry for making you wait.
It's all right. It's a really cool show if you ever get a chance to go. I've been several times. So in the last meeting, I mentioned the painting that was what I was basing my model off of. And I think somebody online had put a comment up that they thought it was Thomas's painting, and that's not actually true. The painting that I got, and I can't remember the artist's name. Let's see if I can make this work.
Shadows.
So this is the painting that I'm basing my model on. So you see Constitution in the background sailing past. Siren is here in the foreground as a 3/4 stern view.
There you go.
There we go. Okay, sorry about that. I'm not Vanna White, so I apologize.
No, you're not.
But you can kind of see that, unlike if you look at Shipway's kit and you see how they like their painting scheme and stuff, the top rails are painted black, a lot of black, very little natural wood. The artist that portrayed this scene of attacking the Tripolian fleet and bombing Tripoli showed what I believe to be more of the ships of that period in the U.S. Navy, which was a lot of natural wood type stuff. So I'm kind of modeling my version of Siren to that extent. You can also see to a certain degree, I don't know if I can bring it up and it'll focus. on the stern, you can see here that there is an indication of stars that are outlining the siren name, as well as up on the upper part of the transom. So as I showed last month, I ended up, instead of using the stern decorations that came in the kit, I used some stars that I got, outlined the name. You can see they're really, really small, but they're outlining the name. And then, of course, along the top of the transom, I added 3. So that's how I'm kind of differentiating, making it my own. Since the last meeting, I've started putting in all of the hatches for the oar ports, started putting in the hinges. I actually might, these are the kit ones. I'm actually going to probably take them off and go with something a little bit different because I'm not quite happy with how they're turning out. And then the last, one of the last things that I did is I did finish up the upper bracket and hair bracket, which I used Costella boxwood for those. And then the last thing that I completed is the rudder and putting all of the hardware and so forth on the rudder. So that's now complete. It's not glued in yet because I've got to do some things with the tiller head first. But that's where I'm at today.
Very good.
And again, I milled all my planking out of maple using many of the techniques that Dave did, but I did learn some new stuff that I'm
Want to bring yours up?
Yes. Gentlemen, I have a boat sale. It's just beyond me. Dumas commercial fishing boat. I did the frame.
Want me to carry that up?
Yes.
Front?
Thank you.
All right.
Craig,
Yep.
I'm in another hole if you want to spotlight me again.
All right. Can you give me 1 minute? Go ahead. Oh.
Yeah, keep the spotlight.
Just give me a moment. We'll finish up one thing here, and then we'll get back to you.
It's a Dumas kit I bought probably
Okay.
15 years ago, I think before the turn of the century. It should be complete the way I bought it, but I understand too that the more current Dumas fishing boats like this have the propeller shaft. When I bought it, I don't think it did have it. But I'm asking $30 if anybody's interested.
I can put that up on the website too. If, helpful. Before you leave, let me take a picture of it. That way I can put a picture up with it.
Okay,
Basically, we have a store now.
so that sounds good.
All right. And if anyone online was interested, are you willing, and they pay for the shipping, you're willing to box it up and ship it?
Glad to.
Okay. All right.
Is the box sealed? Box is not sealed.
All right.
There you go.
Let's see, Ryland.
Okay.
The spotlight didn't work.
Spotlight me.
I don't understand what's going on here. Spotlight. Hey, Ryland, does anyone that you're with have a better connection than you do?
Yeah.
Maybe this is a different company, different carrier? I hit spotlight for everyone.
I'm by myself over here. Gene is in another hole.
Not even coming through.
A lot of noise in here. This is just a lot of noise. But, these engines are, built.
Hey, Ryland, I think it's not coming through because of bandwidth issues.
There's even a ship on.
Unfortunately, I don't think this is going to work.
Okay.
Oh, now it shows up. We can see it now. Ryland, if you want to say a couple words and show us a little bit of herky jerky video.
So you can see me now?
Yeah, it's very spotty, but go ahead and talk for a moment. Anyway, better than nothing.
Yeah, it's very noisy back here. Let me walk over to the cold.
All right. Tell you what, Ryland, I don't think it's going to work. What I'll do is I'm going to go to our website and pull up a couple pictures and videos from a past trip so everyone has a sense of what
Okay,
you guys are doing.
yeah. I checked with Gene. He's in another hall. He may have better reception.
Okay. Have fun, man. So like Sean already said, it's a really fun show, and I'm gonna pull up our website just briefly to give you guys a sense of what kind of modeling stuff is there. You know, he was showing old toys that are being auctioned, which is fun, but it's not the main focus of that event.
It's really a machinist type of event. You get a lot of different machinist tools and so forth there, and then they have all of these articulating type of things like hitting this engines, the water wheel type of mechanisms. There was last year a model train that somebody actually built all these years that through by air.
There was one thing that someone had a little bit of compressed air in his pocket with a tube leading to his tie tack. That was an actual working radial engine that spun a propeller. I mean, it was amazing.
There's a guy there that has a V8 Ford and a V8 Chevy engine that runs off gas. I've seen some inline radial engines like you'd find in a World War II aircraft, drive a propeller. It's a really cool show.
So I think it was before the meeting started, we could see their video online. It wasn't being recorded. They showed the boat pond. This is boat pond from a prior one. And there's a number of radio control boats that run in the pond. Some of them are electric motors. Some of them are actual working steam engines, which is like kind of more the main focus for this thing. And I say, you know, handmade locomotive engines. There's so a lot of the stuff. What happened? I was
You click on info.
so a lot. Yeah, it was just a really short video. I was trying not to have much bandwidth, I guess. There's another one. Same guy. So a lot of these will actually run on steam, but they'll hook them up to compressed air for the sake of the show, so they don't have all of that combustible stuff inside. This one was kind of interesting. I don't know what the purpose of this is. It's kind of like maybe a crane that would walk along a mud flat or something. But it would.
It looks like the base of those huge excavators that work the mines.
Yeah.
Walk themselves like that and then.
But I mean, just all kinds of fun stuff. And then some marine engines, you know, some of them more,
It really.
and what's really fun about these is you'll see some odd stuff, you know, people will model stuff that's just interesting. And I remember from talking and reading their little placards that a lot of these designs were not necessarily the most efficient, but they were working around patents. You know, they can have the cylinder move instead of the piston rod going back and forth, and that with a connecting rod or whatever, and that avoided some patents allowed them to sell their stuff. But anyway, it is a really fun show. Hey, Gene, do you have more bandwidth than Rylan? Is that Gene?
All right, here we go. Yeah, no, I got you now. Yeah, we split up in an attempt to show you the different rooms and so forth. But unfortunately, I think what's happening is that the buildings are constructed of corrugated steel, and we have very poor reception. I'm outside and kind of in the lobby area. So I have access to the outside. And one room we were in previous was an old cinder block building. So that is the problem.
Okay. And I'm having trouble with Zoom. I said spotlight you and it's not working, so I'm not sure what's going on. So we will move on. Is there any other show and tell in the room?
Yeah.
Yep. All right. Stuart?
Well, as some of you know, I'm finishing up a model of a Greek bireme down in the taco stand. I'll probably have it finished, almost finished now, so another month. It'll be done. Then I'll try to bring it in. So this is the replacement. This is what I'm going to build next. Captain John Smith's shallot. This is a model kit that I bought from a shop in Kyiv, the Ukraine, 3 months ago. I was a little surprised that I was going to get it at all, but I took a chance and spent $100 plus $30 shipping, and lo and behold, a month later, here it comes. It's from a company run by a man named Pavel Nidikin. They will take PayPal. It's almost like buying it from any of the local places. I haven't even really opened this thing yet. I opened the box and looked in it. Nice little book, some plans, and a whole bunch of pieces.
You said you ordered this from Kyiv in the Ukraine?
That is correct.
Wow.
Jim Murphy of the Constitution Club just started that kit, and he's really having a good time with it.
I'm really looking forward to doing it. And what sold me on it was a series of YouTube videos that were produced either by the people who built the kit, made the kit, or somebody else in Ukraine.
Yeah.
It shows the whole process of building it, which is very unique because it's got at least 3 very substantial jigs and fixtures to put it together.
Yeah. He
Some
said,
in the kit, or they tell you how to build them yourself.
They come in the kit, but you put them together yourself. It's in here somewhere.
Yep.
he said that the engineering of the kit is spectacular.
It's spectacular. That's what I got from it. This would be interesting whether you build it or not. Go to a YouTube video and look at it. Just look up.
Get some ideas out of it.
Yeah, you would get ideas. Look up Captain John Smith's shallot on YouTube and a set of 3 or 4 videos produced by the person who built it there. Apparently, it's a woman. Her name is Olha Achvarov.
Does other stuff.
Yeah,
I thought she was here in the States. No.
I don't know.
Okay, all right.
I don't know. There's no way to tell.
Ola is in Connecticut.
Yeah.
Connecticut?
Yeah, but
Okay.
she's a professional photographer, so it's possible that she put the video together.
I'm sure she
Very
did.
good. She builds beautiful models.
There's no narrative on the video at all. It's just all showing, putting it together and music behind it. And you can see her hands, so you know she's a woman. But it's very interesting. Well, I'm going to start on this Monday
All right.
in the taco stand. So anybody who wants to come by the taco stand can see the progress on it.
So you'll show us the finished model at the next meeting?
Right. Yes.
Next year.
Next, yeah. Maybe in the March meeting, 2025.
Yeah, Don? You want us to come to you?
No, I'll look there. I can walk 25 feet.
Hey, Greg, a quick comment. Bandwidth, the bandwidth here is apparently very poor and we keep getting buffered. So we're probably not gonna be able to show much more than just face right now. When you get to the meeting part, I'll try and find a good spot to talk.
Okay.
All right, I'll just hang.
Yeah, go ahead.
I belong to the Model Boat Guild over at Deltaville. So 3 days before the meeting in December, they put out a challenge. Hey, make Christmas ornaments, but they have to be boats. Well, I'm thinking, this is crazy. I'm sitting out in the shop. I'm not happy because I can't walk. Pretty moody. So my wife says, you got a scrap box. Quit being a baby. So I made a couple of the dead rises. Yeah. All right. Then I go, well, then I'll do a buy boat.
How heavy are these? Are these the type you try and put on the tree? And
Yeah, these will hang on the tree.
Down to the floor?
No, these are light. I use a real Christmas tree. I get them hand picked. I cut them. So I don't worry about that. But I bought these because of what was in the newsletter.
Uh-huh.
So some of the other folks had made, these aren't the ones I showed because these are the ones I'm playing with now. Some other stuff, a couple of them were small half hulls and things like that. So I got a little crazy and I've got a skipjack I just finished. I haven't painted it yet. But I'm just going to put this on a wreath.
Oh, yeah,
And
that'd be nice.
detail some of the colors up, but that kind of, again, goes along with, I wasn't going to show anything today, but I saw that in the newsletter about the museum and the small things. But so in 4 hours, 2 hours, excuse me, I built 4 of these and had them painted. But they were just stuff from the scrap box is all they were. That and a little bit of work on the saw and the belt sander, and I shaped everything. But yeah, they were fun and quick. So it's easy to do, and it's something where you're waiting for paint to dry on something else. But yeah, so that was it. That's it.
Very fun.
All right.
Merry Christmas.
I didn't put any Christmas colors on them though.
Red.
Yeah.
Very cool. Anyone else in the room? How about online? Do we have any show and tell people online? More? You're muted.
My lifeboats, this is the cutter. This is the launch rather, and this one's finished. You can see the oars, the winch over here, the davit, that was for lifting the anchor buoy. I put the tiller on and I put rope around it. There's an anchor, a boat hooks, a bailing bucket. The barge is complete except for the flags. I'm waiting for flags to come because I think when the admiral was in the boat, there'd be a flag. So I'm going to put a flag on it and then I'll put the tiller on, and add the oars. But she's done. The cutter is complete. As you can see with the anchor and the boat hooks and the pinnace. I'm going to put a flag on her also. There was a captain's flag when the captain was in the boat. So I'll put that on and then I'll put the tiller on and the oars and add the boat hooks and they'll be finished. And while I'm waiting, I've been rigging. I'm rigging the mainmast in the moment. The foremast and the bowsprit are all completely rigged and belayed. And that's where I'm at right now.
Very nice.
Thank you.
What are you gonna do after this?
I still have about 9 months, I think, till I'm finished. So we'll see. Something small. My wife doesn't want any big boats. I wanted to do the Bella Raphone, but I don't think there's room in the house for the wife and the Bella Raphone. So it'll be something small. Because this boat is so big, it takes up the entire work table. And when I turn it when I go from port side to starboard side with rigging, it's a whole big thing. So I have to be careful I don't snap anything. So it's got to be a small boat. Maybe the Arm Virginia sloop or something next.
Very nice.
Thank you.
Anyone else online?
Hey, Greg,
Yep.
I don't have a show and tell, but I've got an email that I'd like to read to you folks and see if I can get any information.
Well, that would be a tell. All right, go ahead.
Okay, I have an email that I got from Randy Biddle. And Randy Biddle tells me that Wayne Yarnell, who is a founding member of the Nautical Research Guild, bequeathed his entire maritime collection of about 50 ship models to the New Jersey Historical Society. So what does that have to do with Hampton Roads? Well, what it has to do with Hampton Roads is that Alan Frazier inventoried that collection.
Okay.
Randy is trying to locate that collection, and nobody seems to know where it is. My question is, does anyone in your club or anyone at the museum have access to any of Alan Frazier's files that might be able to find where these models ended up?
Jane's still a volunteer at the museum?
Okay.
Yeah. His wife is or was a volunteer at the museum, and I don't know what state Alan left his records in. You know, if Jane still has them, if she has them, if she knows where they are or what they are, but we can certainly inquire.
I'd appreciate that. No rush or anything. It's just strange that a collection of 50 models, nobody knows where it is.
And they were bequeathed to the New Jersey Historical Society, and they don't have.
They were supposed to go to the New Jersey Historical Society, and they don't know where they are. And so, but he does know Alan Frazier, as you know, was also a member of the Nautical Research Guild. He was also a member of Ship Model Society in New Jersey, and he was a curator at the Newark Museum in Newark, New Jersey. I asked our two most senior members of the Ship Model Society, and one of them knows of the collection, but other than that, he doesn't know anything more. And I was just wondering, since Alan ended up down there and he was connected with the Mariners Museum, maybe there's some wreckage someplace.
Is this Tom? Yeah. Tom, have you talked to Jane?
No, I haven't.
Okay, I'll do some research for you, Tom.
I'd appreciate that. Thank you much.
I know that the Nautical Research Guild does not have anything or any records of it.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, folks.
Yeah.
Were
Anyone
you
else
asking for comments from,
What?
were you looking for comments about the day from a visitor?
Any show and tell, if you got a comment, yeah, chime in.
I've got a comment that about the ammonia. We had a speaker from the Wood Products Lab up at Madison, Wisconsin. And this is the federal government lab. And the guy talked to us at two different, one was the Nautical Research Guild in when it was held up at Manitowoc in 97, 98. And but he talked about the damage that ammonia does to the wood. Soaking wood in water, applying heat and such softens the lignum in the cells. And this is the glue that holds the whole thing together. Ammonia destroys the bonds within the lignum. So basically what it does is destroys the wood from inside. And after who knows how many years, it's just not going to be what you want in your model. If you did it to something structural, the whole thing could crumble. And when the people got the idea of ammonia with the wood, it's an industrial process under high pressure. And it's nothing you can duplicate at home. And that will work, but it's very carefully controlled so it doesn't dissolve your lignum, and the wood is the structural integrity of the wood is destroyed by using ammonia. And I've got it in a write-up somewhere. I mean, I know where it'll be, but if you want, I'll find that and send it on to you. I'm hoping I've got to call them up there and maybe get them to do one of our Saturday workshops for the NRG. So I just wanted to comment on that.
Yeah, thank you. I think we're all convinced, but it would still be helpful to have the information to back it up in case anyone questions it.
Oh yeah, but I'll tell you what, nobody that was there is using ammonia today.
Yeah. We're convinced. Any other shows or tells online? All right, I think let's take just keep it quick, like a 5-minute bio break before we get to the business portion. And then
I want to inject something that's
Oh.
either new or old business. Did anybody know named Norm Coverly? Norm Coverly.
No.
Well, Norm died on the 7th, a week ago. He'd been on every ship that was built since the Ark. He was a coastie. He was 91 years old. He spent a lot of time here at the museum answering questions for people on his own personal experience. He's been ill, hasn't been in for some time, but we've lost a great source of information in Norm. He was actually on the monitor recovery team, and he did a poem about hanging in the gallery for some years. Norm was quite a guy. I'm sorry to lose him.
Well, that's too bad. Ending on that somber note, we'll have a quick break and come back in 5.